can break the dark. A single spark ignites the heart. But if we turn when justice calls, the chains we forge will bind us all. When truth is silence, when lies take hold, the cost is freedom, the soul grows cold. No one stands tall while another must fall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all. We're mavericks of freedom, rebels in the fight, defending every voice, defending every right. For the moment we falter, the moment we stall, we lose our own freedom when we let others fall. You can't stand free while others kneel. When justice fades, it's freedom they steal. An innocent condemned, a crime unspoken, and with it the bond of liberty is broken. No tyrant rules without our consent. Oppression thrives where silence is spent. Stand for the weak, the silence the small, or freedom will crumble for us all. We're mavericks of freedom, guardians of the light, fighting for the truth, for what is just and right. For the rights of one are the rights of all. We rise or we fall by answering the call. Even those we may oppose deserve the rights we all uphold. For if we deny them what is fair, we build our own prison in despair. The fight's not easy, it never will be, but justice for one is the key to be free. We stand as mavericks, together we strive, defending the rights that keep freedom alive. We're mavericks of freedom, rebels in the fight, upholding every truth, protecting every right. When one is oppressed, we're all in the thrall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all. So take a stand, let your courage rise. Defend the truth, don't compromise. For the soul of the world, the writing's on the wall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for
Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back, everyone. Great to have everybody here. I think, what is the date today? April the 4th, 2025, right? Yeah. I'm so old, I have to check the year. I can't count that high. President Trump seems to have trouble counting, too. His math seems a little off these days, the way he calculates these tariffs. Then the numbers he has come up with, my goodness, he just seems to pull them out of thin air. And yet he somehow seems, I don't know, to be covered in Teflon, at least for some people, at least half the people. Markets crashed again today. And this phrase keeps coming to mind. You will own nothing and be happy. If this keeps up, there won't be anything left. And yet, you know, Isabel, thank you, Isabel. sent me a couple of things, a few things actually. Thing one, she sent me this. Got it in the mail today. That's how a lot of people are feeling these days because of the Trump tariffs. Buy Canadian. I totally get it. I'm on board with supporting our neighbors all the time, and especially now. We do need to support our neighbors and buy local as much as we possibly can. Buy Canadian. What else did she send me? Oh, here it is. Here. Little mishap with this, though, Isabel. This was sent earlier the other day. Another gift, which I greatly appreciate. I'm going to have to find an alternative use for it, though. Well, I can still wear it. She sent me this not for Canada, not for sale t-shirt. She's making this stuff, I think. The only mishap is that I wore it. And then I guess, it smells like me. And of course, Cosmo fell in love with it and sort of chewed it. Sorry. I'll wear it anyway. As an undershirt, just because I like it so much. And then she sent me this. This is like Christmas, I have to say. She sent me this mug. She made this mug. See that? Thank you. And then look what it says on the other side. That's right. Elbows up, Canada. And I see people out there, other streamers, criticizing. People are like, oh, if you say elbows up, you're a liberal. No, not necessarily. I see lots of conservatives saying elbows up. In fact, it was John from out in Alberta who first brought that phrase to us. I was like, elbows up, what the heck are you talking about? It's a Gordie Howe term, I guess, right? Which is ironic in a way because Gordie Howe was the hero of Wayne Gretzky, and Gordie Howe now, his elbows up thing, he's a national hero again, while Wayne Gretzky is getting the cold shoulder from a lot of Canadians because of his connection to Trump and the way that he behaved, sort of snubbing the Canadian team during the tournament, and went out and shook hands and acknowledged the U.S. team, but not so much the Canadian side. So some people really took exception to that. So you can pick your side, I guess. They're the Gordie Howe side or the Wayne Gretzky side. And Gordie Howe, known in his day, and I should have known this when John first brought that phrase forward here on the program, the elbows up phrase. I should have remembered that it was Gordie Howe who used to go into the corners, and you didn't want to be in there with him because if you got caught in the corners with Gordie Howe, oh yeah, man, you got an elbow right in the kisser. So that was the way he played the game. Pretty tough guy, and a very talented hockey hero. And we have a lot of heroes out there these days, Isabel being among them. Now, I think Isabel has a business as well going on. So you might want to ask her about her gift business because she makes a lot of things. And I didn't get paid other than the free gifts, which I appreciate very much. But she makes like bubble ornament things and stuff, really nice arrangements and gifts to share with people. So if you need a special gift for someone special, then Isabel's the special person that you should go talk to. What else do we have going on? It's just chaos. And I think what we'll do tonight is we'll probably go to the phones pretty early here tonight to give you guys a voice as we settle in for another Maverick News broadcast where we bring you the top news stories of the day and try to get you all a little bit closer to the truth while we give you a voice. I'll be right back.
Greetings, brave mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Yeah, and we do need your help here to pay the bills. I have to send out a couple of thank you emails to a couple of people still from about a week ago because we did receive a couple of donations, and I'm very grateful for that. But we are, again, just that time of the month when we're facing the bills. So if you are so inclined, if you are able to support the program and help keep the lights on here, you can do that by donating at freedomreporters.com. Certainly appreciate the support. And you can also donate by e-transfer at rw581@aol.com. I know some people don't like to donate through the PayPal portal, but you can e-transfer. If you do that, please complete the security question and then assign the answer, regardless of whatever question you use, as long as we know the answer or the note attached to that is going to be the word Maverick, all lowercase, then we can complete the deposit. Otherwise, we can't do anything with it. And we don't get an email, so I can't contact you sometimes to follow up on any of that stuff. If you send by e-transfer, it doesn't work that way. You're giving Interact your email. We don't get the email address over here, just the notification. And if we know the answer, then everything can go smoothly. Just giving you that little bit of information that is necessary because it does go into a business account for proper accounting, because we do have to submit taxes, tax reports, all of that stuff. So I need to make sure that we do everything legally, properly, unlike some politicians out there who like to find ways to do an end run around tax laws and find tax havens, or in some cases, even embezzle funds. I don't know. Does anybody here have an opinion on Marine Le Pen and her conviction on embezzlement? It seems to me like anytime these certain politicians get caught these days with their hand in a cookie jar, there are some people who run to their defense and say, oh, there's nothing to see here. It's not a big deal. Donald Trump came out and defended her and said that to him, it just looks like a bookkeeping error. Maybe. Then again, she might actually be guilty. But a lot of people are like, it's just a witch hunt. I don't know. I don't care what side you're on. If you're stealing money or using it inappropriately or illegally, I think you should be held accountable, period. And if she is guilty, she's guilty. And she's not the only one. There were many in her party that were accused of and convicted of using taxpayer dollars, EU funds, to finance their campaign activities instead of using it for government business, to conduct the affairs of government through their offices. Just, basically running campaigns with tax dollars. So, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't see all the evidence. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other on it. It's just that if it goes through the court system and you're found guilty, there might be a high probability that you might have done something maybe just a little bit wrong. And then, but some people just don't want to acknowledge that. That's the one of the biggest problems I think that we have right now in our system is there's so much polarization that people are like picking a side, and then the people on your side can do no wrong, the people on the other side can do no right. And if you want to be part of that group, it's like you have to join the club and you have to toe the line on the narrative. You're not allowed to say anything critical of the people on your side. And if you do, then you get excommunicated or attacked. Well, you see it here all the time because what we're doing is we're trying to practice actual journalism. I'm not sitting here cheerleading for any particular candidate. I'm being critical of pretty much all of them on one level or another. When I see positive things, I say positive things, but it's not really a formula here that leads to uh, massive donations or even massive numbers of clicks and generates a huge audience. No, if you want that, there's another way to do it. And that's not what we're doing here. I'm just not part of the propaganda team on that side or that side. I'm actually trying to practice journalism. A lot of people don't like it. I don't know. It seems to me that people today, a lot of people just don't really want truth. I think that's the truth is that most people don't want truth. They just want bias confirmation. They want you to tell them what it is they want to hear. And they really want you to tell them how bad the guy is that they don't want to like, so that they have someone that they can love to hate on all sides. I see it going on. And I honestly, I don't even know if there's a way back from this because of what's going on with social media and the way it's polarized people so much. And it isn't healthy. And I think it actually gives license to some politicians to get away with actual crimes. Because if you get your people in, then all the corruption, all the bad stuff that they do, it just gets glossed over. They don't get held accountable for it. And a lot of people just get into this mindset where it's like they just excuse whatever their person does. And, I think Trump has done some bad things in hindsight that maybe even I dismissed because I thought that the accusations were just too absurd. And yet, as time has marched on, I'm seeing that, well, maybe we better take a second look at that one. And yeah, now look at what's going on. Global economic warfare using tariffs on the entire freaking world. Not just Canada, not just the United States, not just the EU, not just Mexico, the entire world. And then I see all these people saying, oh, well, it's Trump and he's got this 7D chess plan and he knows what he's doing. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think he's lost his freaking mind, to be quite honest. And so I will not criticize anyone who says elbows up. Isabel, you keep on making those mugs because somebody needs to talk some common sense back into the president of the United States. These tariffs are a bad idea. In fact, I can't think of anything more stupid. I can't think of anything in my lifetime. I can't think of anything from any of the history that I know that is as stupid as this. Attacking your allies, attacking your friends, attacking your the countries around the world that you've had mutual support with, with economic warfare, and yet Russia wasn't even on the list. How does that make any sense? It makes no sense at all. Yeah, I have to, let me just write this down. Because this is, yeah. Yep. This is me editorializing. Stupid. It's stupid. That's what it is. Because now we've had 2 days in a row of massive, massive stock market bleeding. Here it is off CBS News.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm John Dickerson in New York, where Wall Street took another dive today. The Dow fell roughly 2,200 points, about 5%. The Nasdaq dropped nearly 6%, around 1,000 points, and the S&P 500 slid roughly 6% as well. The second day of the downward trend is, of course, fallout from President Trump's recently announced new tariffs. The 10% on imports from every country goes into effect tomorrow. China retaliated with 34% tariffs on all U.S. goods, igniting fears of a global trade war and potential recession. With me now is Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Okay, Kelly, day 2 of this. How is day 2 different than day 1 if the numbers are big?
It's worse.
Yeah.
In fact, it's significantly worse. So you mentioned that the Dow closed down over 2,000 points. That is the 4th time in history. Now, the Dow keeps going up over time, so 2,000 is not as significant a number this time around as maybe last time around.
But still rarefied territory. It doesn't happen that
rare.
much. Yeah.
A couple more stats for you. This is the worst 2-day rout for stocks since March of 2020. Going back to the pandemic, we erased nearly 1 year of gains in the past few weeks in the market. And the NASDAQ is what we call bear market territory. That means when you have lost 20% of the value since its recent high. It entered that territory today. The S&P 500 is entering that territory. Just means investors are feeling very scared. All the sectors were down, and tech really took it on the chin, which we talked about yesterday.
Right.
It hurts your 401k.
That's right. And tech, because they both have component parts coming from overseas, and they have huge markets like Apple, 15 to 20% of their market in China. Speaking of China, what are you seeing in this response from China?
So China slapped 34% retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, and that's not going to make goods more expensive for us here. What that means, it's going to be more expensive for Chinese citizens to buy American goods.
Right.
Think about the big companies, right? Apple, Nike, Tesla. But what really, I think, was reflected in investors today is they see that as China is determined to fight, and we are heading towards a global trade war. And where you get concerned about that is that's when consumers spend less, prices are higher, and you really saw that in the price of oil, because oil hit its lowest level since April 2021. And you're probably thinking, oh, but my gas prices are
People
going
be
to
like,
be
hey,
low.
that's
This
great.
is fantastic.
Yes, so explain why oil being low is not the good news one might think it would be.
Energy drives production. When you're manufacturing, when you have lots of activity and your economy is booming, you need oil. The fact that it went down is reflective that investors think we could be heading towards slowing economic growth, and you would need less oil because of less production.
Let me grab that for a second, which is that when you hear the administration talk about what's happening right now, they say, well, this is the market. It's not the real economy. They'll figure things out. What I hear you saying in oil, and correct me if I'm wrong, is businesses that use energy are making choices about what the future looks like. And that is affecting the oil market. And the bet that they're making about the future is that it's not going to be a roaring future full of a lot of economic activity, that it's going to be a less strong economic period. And that's why oil is, the bets are that there's going to be less energy used. So that's not just people trading in the market. That's real businesses making real choices about what the future looks like. Do I have that right?
Well, because oil is traded on a global market. You buy and you sell. So that's exactly right. And the reason is tariffs, because if prices are higher, businesses are going to buy less, people are going to buy less, and therefore you produce less.
In other words, we're looking at less demand for oil because companies are engaged in less activity. They're shutting things down. There's just less economic activity already. So oil prices are dropping because not as many trucks are rolling, because factories aren't operating at the capacities that they were even just days ago. And we've seen layoffs announced by Stellantis now in the U.S., auto plants. We've seen now, just yesterday, we announced here that Stellantis in Windsor, in Canada, they're shutting down for 2 weeks, minimum. Might be longer. We'll see. That affects about 3,200 people there. The company and union both acknowledging that the reason for the shutdown there, Trump tariffs. It's stupid. This is really, 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 really the stupidest thing ever. The likes of which we've never seen before. This is Trump's version of economic shock therapy. If you want to know what that is, go look at what happened to the Soviet Union at the just before, as it fell, and then what the economic solution put forward by Mr. Sachs, the economist, was, and then look at the way that turned out. Not good. My God. I'm seeing even, now some people questioning whether Trump is actually on an intentional mission of destruction. And people like, who was it? Was the live streamer? I didn't watch it, but I saw the headline. She was asking, Kim Iverson. She was like, is Trump really part of the global elite cabal or some weird thing like that? Because they're all shifting their views on this stuff, you see. What was it she was saying? Anyway, I don't know. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. They're losing faith in, I can't find the video from today. Doesn't really matter. You get the point. The shine has worn off. It's going to get a lot worse. I guarantee it. If these tariffs remain in place, the shine will be gone in no time, because it's coming. It's this is like within hours, really, like 48 hours of these things, 24, 48 hours of these tariffs taking effect. You're going to see massive price increases, huge inflation, people losing their jobs. It's not cool, man. And I'm laughing. It's not funny. This could lead to not just a recession. This could lead to a worldwide depression, the likes of which we've never seen before. I mean, when Trump does something, he goes big or he goes home, doesn't he? Yeah. Here's let me just see if I've got this. Here's Ben Shapiro talking about this stuff. I was watching him today. He's pretty much on point with regard to these tariffs, and don't normally share his stuff, but he's kind of got this done. He's a sharp guy. He's sharp. Here he is criticizing Trump's tariffs.
Yesterday, President Trump declared that it was, in fact, Liberation Day. His giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally. Trump's reciprocal tariffs impose hundreds of billions of dollars in new taxes on Americans, be the largest tax increase since the Revenue Act of 1968. One of the biggest tax increases on American consumers in the history of America. And it's going to cost American consumers. It will cost American producers who use inputs from other countries. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted immediately more than 1,000 points. The S&P 500 plummeted more than 3%.
And Morgan today.
The NASDAQ plummeted almost 4.5%.
And Morgan
there are
today.
real world implications for this sort of stuff. Trade wars are in fact not good and not easy to win, particularly if you don't actually have a plan. It is predicated on a bad idea of how international trade works. A fundamental misunderstanding of trade deficits. Trade deficits they're an accounting procedure. Trade deficits have pretty much nothing to do with the health of an economy. I can name you a period in American history where there was a fairly large surplus in America's balance of trade. The entire Great Depression.
Yeah. What was that word again? Oh, yeah. Something's not right. Something is seriously not right. Just telling you. Don't take my word for it. How about Thomas Sowell, economist, one of the great economic thinkers of our time? I put him up there with in the same league is like Milton Friedman. What's the name of this program? American Thinkers or something, I think is what it is. I can't remember. I watch it all the time, and I can't remember the name of the program, but you'll recognize the host. And here's economist Thomas Sowell reacting.
Of the present President of the United States and his tariffs.
It's painful to see what a ruinous decision from back in the 1920s being repeated. Now, insofar as he's using these tariffs to get very strategic things settled, and that he is satisfied with that. But if you set off a worldwide trade war, that has a devastating history. Everybody loses because everybody follows suit, and all that happens is that you get a great reduction in international trade. The other, it's disturbing in another sense. Franklin D. Roosevelt, when he was president in the 1930s, said that you have to try things, and if they don't work, then you admit it, you abandon that, and you go on to something else, and you try that until you come across something that does work. Now that's not a bad approach if you are operating within a known system of rules. Mm. But if you are the one who's making the rules, then all the other people have no idea what you're going to do next. And that is the formula for having people hang on to their money until they figure out what you're going to do. And when a lot of people hang on to their money, you can get results such as you got during the Great Depression of the 1930s.
Okay. I love Thomas Sowell. Very, very bright guy. It's kind of like common sense economics. When I mean common sense, I mean it's just logical. Let's take a little break. I'll come back. I have more. I was going to go to the phones real soon. I still will, but I still have more to share. So stay with me.
Maverick News. Expose lies and tell truth. The world is watching.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford in Orillia today, also responding again to the tariffs and sounding the alarm. Here he is.
These tariffs, very clear message. President Trump, these parts go back and forth across the border 7 times. One of these part companies go down and will shut assembly lines down on both sides of the border. We buy 400% more cars than Mexico. The difference is, on the USMCA deal, they said they were going to pay their workers $16 an hour. They're paying them $6 an hour. So they don't care about these tariffs. We pay fair wages up here. I support our uniform members and non-members as well, no matter if it's Toyota or Honda, and I know Ford's retooling, but they're continuing on construction. General Motors as well, and and Stellantis. We're going to support our workers. We're going to protect our workers, but we buy as many cars as we sell. You know, it's this whole tariff nonsense with Canada is the craziest thing I've ever seen. You take out the crude oil, the Americans have a $56 billion surplus. We're doing $500 billion of two-way trade. Would be the third largest trading partner in the world with the United States, the #1 customer to 17 states, and #2 to 11 others. I want to thank Senator Collins and Senator McConnell and Senator Rand for actually standing up, Republicans standing up and voting against the president. And there was one more senator that I just blanked out on, standing up and saying, you want to drive our country into a recession. We see the market tumbling trillions of dollars, unprecedented. You know, consumer confidence is down all throughout the United States. Investment has stalled, and Americans are going to lose their jobs. It's not Liberation Day. It was called Termination Day because Americans will be terminated. You just don't ignore and attack. Your number one customer in the world is Canada. You know, we need to work together. And this administration just maybe doesn't believe in working together. But we're going to continue making sure that we communicate with Secretary Lutnick, with the president, and continue moving forward. We're strong, we're resilient, but we have two choices here, folks. We will either roll over and let this guy run us over with a cement truck 15 times because they don't care about us, or we get up and fight like we've never fought before. I believe in the latter. We need to fight, continue fighting, and make sure that Americans feel the pain. And I hate saying that. It's not the American people. It's one person. That's President Trump. So I talked to endless Americans and Republican elected officials, be it Congress or senators or governors. I've yet to find one person that says, yeah, let's go economically attack our greatest neighbors and allies we've had for 200 years. But we're gonna keep going, and hopefully we can get through this. The positive news, we weren't on the list the other day. So let's move from there, because it will hurt American workers. I will guarantee it.
Yeah. That's exactly right. 100% exactly right. And Isabel, yeah, you're right. Okay. This is not partisan. This is not just a liberal thing. The people are saying, you must be a liberal if you're saying that. No, it's not a liberal thing. It's a self-respect thing. It's like when you're getting punched in the face, it's okay to fight back. It's okay. And just have a little self-respect. And that's what we're doing. And it's working, by the way, in case you haven't noticed. And some people are trying to flip this whole thing around in a way too, because Mark Carney makes that phone call to Trump. There's suddenly a degree of respect there again. He didn't call him governor. He did respect our sovereignty. And I don't care what party you're with or what your political ideology is. I care first about my country and the preservation of our sovereignty, and also, therefore, democracy in our system, so that people have the right to choose what kind of government we have through elections. But he commanded respect, got respect, telegraphed that he was expecting respect before the phone call, and got it. My hat goes off to Mark Carney, and it was absolutely a step in the right direction for Canada. Now, some people are saying, oh, well, now, the trade war thing is diminished and Carney needs the trade war for the political thing. It's not a freaking conspiracy, I don't think, where Carney's now secretly working with Trump or what. I don't know, man. Like, give it a break. You just give it a rest. Okay, let's just focus on one thing, getting through this stupidity, because that's what this is. It's all stupid. The stupidest thing ever. As the Wall Street Journal said, it's the dumbest trade war ever. And the fallout is coming fast. It's coming in a furious manner. It's costing people their jobs already on both sides of the border, with layoffs, hopefully temporary. Hopefully Trump comes to his senses somehow. Mark Carney, Prime Minister, and he is the Prime Minister. I saw some people in the chat, or at least one person the other night, say, stop calling him the Prime Minister. He's just a stand-in. No, he is the Prime Minister, and he's now seeking a seat so he can actually sit as a member of Parliament and have the full power of the prime minister's office behind him when he returns after this election. That's part of the process. If he fails to win his seat, he probably will step aside as leader, and you'll get another liberal that you can love to hate. The next one is like, bring on the next one. That's the way it works. But if he doesn't win his seat, that means the liberals probably will not win the election, in which case you'll have a conservative government in there anyway. And then the political dynamic changes just a little bit. But today, Carney's still seeking a seat as an MP, campaigning in Woodbridge, Ontario at the Martin Rea auto parts manufacturing facility. Here he is.
It sort of dates us, doesn't it, a bit, Rob? But hey, that was big when we were young. Look, I'm thrilled to be here and just to spend a few moments with this amazing company, who you are, what you represent, as you just said, the diversity of Canada, but also the future of Canada. And I just want to say a couple of words about the situation we're in with the the situation with the trade war, so to speak, with the United States and what it means. And it just goes back to what was just said, the opportunity that's created by tough times. I know the story, but it's great to be here about how you repurposed this factory and these people when we were all hit with COVID, and how you serve the world. And it's a remarkable story. Now, on one level, what's going on with the tariffs, and we got, as you know, the auto tariffs this week from the United States, that's tough. That's tough. But this is an enormous opportunity for this company, for this country, and I think ultimately for America. And I just want to say a few words about what our strategy is right now and how that fits in. We're doing three things. We're going to fight, we're going to protect, and we're going to build. And all of them are important. Now, yeah. So that fight, the fight started with getting respect from the United States. Canada is a sovereign country. It doesn't matter who's in this role. There's only one title for the person who's in the role. My predecessor, myself, whoever comes after me, it's Prime Minister. It's not the thing that begins with G, but it's that we're a sovereign country. Now, we have that respect from the President. That's the first step. But the core of fighting at the moment is matching in an intelligent way. You can't be quite intelligent in some of the software that you guys are producing, but in an intelligent way against the tariffs that are being put in place. And so what we're doing is to have a maximum impact on the U.S., so it gets their attention, it makes them think, it makes them react, but the minimum impact on us here in Canada. So, for example, for the auto sector that you're leaders in, we're not putting tariffs on auto parts. We're not putting tariffs on smart machines that make auto parts. We're not putting tariffs on software. We're not putting tariffs on anything that's part of your business that will make you successful, because we want you and those who work with you to be successes. We are putting tariffs on American vehicles that come into Canada and have an unfair advantage in Canada and competing with us. But even there, we're giving those American companies an incentive to produce in Canada, to produce in Mexico, so they can get relief. So we're fighting in a way that makes the Americans think and protects our businesses. Now, the second thing we're doing is to protect our workers and protect our companies for the period of time it takes for the American government, the president ultimately, to realize what an amazing industry that you are leaders in. The North American auto sector as a whole is one sector. We are fighting the world as one sector. We have to stick together. In fact, we have to get closer together. And ultimately, that's the deal we will get. But until America's willing to sit down at the table for that, we got to protect workers, we got to protect companies. Those aren't just words. We're taking every dollar we get from tariffs that we put on, and we're recycling it back directly to the workers and companies that are affected. So there are layoffs that have started in the industry. Some of your clients, Stellantis, for example, a couple weeks downtime at one of their factories. We're making sure that money goes to make sure those workers are made whole. We're also saying, and this is not an issue for the leading companies, but for some it will be, you don't have to pay your taxes for a while. You have to pay them ultimately when things get going again, or you can borrow directly from us to tide yourself over. Again, protecting the industry so that we can negotiate as a country from a position from strength. Last point, most important point. Ultimately, this is about building. It's about building our country. It's about building this industry. It's about building homes. It's about building new trade corridors. It's about making us more efficient. And we are going to focus 100% on that. We're going to get a lot of government out of the way in order to do that. Any dollar we put in place, it's going to catalyze the industry. So we announced last week, don't worry, I'm winding up. I'm not going to go on longer than Thunderstruck. But last week we announced $2 billion of money to help accelerate the transformation of exactly what Martin Ria does and the supply chain, the broader supply chain does in Canada, to enhance the use of AI, to enhance the use of smart manufacturing equipment, to build the supply chains in Canada, because we want to be ready to take on the world once we get this deal. So we're fighting, we're protecting, we're putting ourselves in the place to build, and we're going to move forward. And it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a rocky few months. Because it's going to take a while for the Americans to come to a realization that they can change parts of the trading system, but they're going to need to double down. We're all better off doubling down on an integrated auto sector. And this company and the Canadian industry is going to come out on top as part of that. And that's what your government is here to deliver for you. Thanks very much for everything.
Now, Pierre Poilievre today has pledged to toughen the penalties for intimate partner violence. He was campaigning in Trois-Rivières, Quebec today, and that was the focus of his visit to, I think it was some sort of a shelter for women who have been the victims of domestic violence. I'm not exactly sure of the location, so don't quote me on that. I do know he was in Trois-Rivières, and this is the subject matter. But then, you know, of course, there's the Q&A with the media afterward, and then, of course, he did touch on a few other things. We'll just pick up a little bit of it here.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. Well, it won't, my approach won't have an impact on Radio-Canada, but, you know, I find it interesting that Mr. Carney is now proposing hundreds of millions of billions of dollars in additional spending. Let's be clear on this. Mr. Carney has not proposed a single penny in cost reductions in this government. He is now proposing to stack billions more costs on top of an already morbidly obese government. He was the economic advisor to Justin Trudeau while they doubled the debt, doubled housing costs, and delivered the worst inflation in 40 years. And now he says that if he's elected to a fourth Liberal term, he will make government and therefore the cost of living even more expensive. We need a change, folks. We can't go on spending money we don't have on things we don't need, or our people are going to end up with even more brutal inflation. I will be cutting waste, bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, and other unnecessary expenses to reduce taxes, debt, and inflation. And that's the choice in this election. Do you want a fourth Liberal term of costs and crime up and the economy down under America's thumb, or do you want a new Conservative government that will bring down the cost of living for a change?
Merci. On passe maintenant à la dernière question.
Steve Chase from the Globe and Mail. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Nice to be in Quebec.
It's wonderful to be here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Marco Rubio was in Brussels yesterday, and he was talking to NATO allies. He said the United States expects all NATO allies, including Canada, to raise defense spending to the equivalent of 5% GDP. So I ask you, as if you were to be elected, if you were to form government, would you commit to reaching 5%? And during your directions, or in your directions to the armed forces as Prime Minister, would you instruct them to prepare war plans to defend us against the United States?
Thank you for your question. We will be rebuilding our military, and that will require more money. I've already said that I will cut back on foreign aid, back office bureaucracy, procurement boondoggles to put the money into frontline support, to fill the vacancies, to arm our troops, and to buy the equipment we need. We will have 4 new massive heavy icebreakers to reclaim our Arctic waters. We will buy the Poseidons. We will have fighter jets, a new base, the first Canadian base in the Arctic since the Cold War, CFB Iqaluit. And we will once again have a strong and proud military that can defend our territory. Our main focus will be on our territory. I will say to the Americans that if we can get a rapid conclusion to this ridiculous trade dispute in a way that protects our sovereignty, ends the tariffs, then I will put all the proceeds of that additional trade to work rebuilding our armed forces for a change. And that will be a necessity, I think, for our NATO allies and for our American neighbors. But we're going to make our own decisions on exactly how much we spend. We're going to make our own decisions about our military. We will protect our sovereignty against the Americans. We will be a nation that stands on its own 2 feet, stands up to our foes, protects our territory, and honors our troops. Thank you very much.
En français, s'il vous plaît.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay, enough of that. So, where was I? Oh, yes, now he was talking about, I was asked about NATO. The United States today's Secretary of State acknowledged today from their department that Russia has been dragging, well, Putin's been dragging his feet when it comes to peace talks and the ceasefire. And so this is an acknowledgement now from the U.S. government through Trump, who said the other day that he is actually getting pissed off, his words, with Putin. And it seems like maybe he's having a change of view to some degree on this. And certainly Marco Rubio is. The U.S. also today acknowledging that they are going to commit more F-16s to Ukraine. So there is a shift happening, and it is significant. But they're actually, the major acknowledgement from the U.S. State Department today is that they know that Russia has actually been breaking the partial ceasefire, which is a ceasefire to an agreement that was supposed to be in place to not attack energy infrastructure. And the U.S. is now saying, yes, it's true. Russia has been breaking that agreement, and they've continued to just attack energy infrastructure on the Ukrainian side. And so that has now led to the U.S. committing more F-16s to the war effort over there. And it'll be interesting to see what else comes in the days ahead, because this is a major acknowledgement, a change in tone suddenly from the U.S. side, but it's coming from Marco Rubio's department, not coming directly from Trump himself. So very unpredictable what can, should, possibly, maybe will, is going to happen in the days ahead, but we'll be watching it very closely. And this is significant. That being said, Marco Rubio today, closing off the foreign ministers meeting at NATO, two-day deal. We told you, well, we brought some of the reaction and the news conferences and so on from there yesterday. We had Marco Rubio up there with Mark Rutte. And yesterday, Rubio also offering up strong assurances that the U.S. is not leaving NATO, staying in NATO, that Trump is committed to NATO. But today, and this was weird, this thing here, this is him talking about Greenland. And I have to say, I think that Marco Rubio is a very talented diplomat, but maybe a little short on truth in favor of diplomacy.
What we're not going to do is let China come in now and say, offer them a bunch of money and become, dependent on China.
The president said he would not rule out using military force against Denmark, a NATO ally.
No, he said he would not rule out. No. He said he would not rule out. He said, I'm not going to rule out anything if Greenland is encroached upon by a foreign power like a China or Russia or anybody else. But it doesn't matter because Greenlanders are going to make a decision. They're the ones that want to get away from Denmark. They're the ones that want to be independent. Not us. We didn't come up with that idea. They did. And if they make that decision, then the United States would stand ready, potentially, to step in and say, okay, we can create a partnership with you. We're not at that stage. But that's what the Vice President made clear last week in his visit there. His statement was very abundantly clear, that we will respect the self-determination of the people of Greenland. The people of Greenland. And they're the ones that want to leave Denmark. That wasn't our idea.
All right, well,
yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes. It was Donald Trump's idea. Yes, it was. It wasn't their idea. It was Donald Trump's idea. But whatever keeps the peace, okay? And whatever preserves sovereignty. I'm suspect. Okay, this is, what's the word? This is the word of the night. Stupid. How stupid do you think I am? How stupid do you think people are? Well, some people can be stupid, but for the most part, nobody's that stupid. Everybody knows what he said. He did say that he wouldn't rule out the use of military force against Greenland. He did. 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 Not making it up.
Greetings, brave mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Too late. Too late. Too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Here's the Danish Prime Minister saying that Denmark's friendship with the U.S. is at risk if Trump continues to push on this. What was the word again? Stupid. The stupidity over taking over Greenland. Totally unnecessary. They have military bases there anyway if they want them. Whatever, man. Here she is.
I would like to take this opportunity to send a message directly to the United States of America. The US is a big country and Denmark is a small one. We have looked up to you and you have inspired us. Because since the Second World War, you have defended the free world, created prosperity and progress, peace and freedom. And we have tried to give back to you by always supporting you and by showing up every time you called. In us, you have a friend that has always kept our word, a friend you have always been able to rely on. There is nothing I want more than for our friendship to continue. Because if we let ourselves be divided as allies, then we do our foes a favor. And I will do everything that I can to prevent that from happening. Therefore, When you ask our businesses to invest in the US, they do. When you ask us to spend more on defense, we do. And when you ask of us to strengthen security in the Arctic, we are on the same page. But when you demand to take over a part of the kingdoms of Denmark territory, when we are met by pressure and by threats from our closest ally, what are we to believe in about the country that we have admired for so many years? The country that, if any, have stood up for others' freedom. You know us, you know what we stand for, and you know that we don't give in. And that is why I have to say very clearly, national borders, sovereignty of states, and our integrity, these are all principles rooted in international law. These are fundamental principles formed after the Second World War so that small countries don't have to fear big ones. And so, this is not only about Greenland or Denmark. This is about the world order that we have built together across the Atlantic over generations. You cannot annex another country, not even with an argument about international security.
Yes. Not stupid. Not stupid. Thank you. Is Donald Trump listening? No, probably not. Back to the Canadian election, I'm seeing conflicting polling that just confirms what we probably should know and acknowledge, is that it's a close race in Canada in this election. Yesterday, a poll says that the Conservatives retook the lead. Today, I'm seeing a different poll, or a report on a different poll, saying that the Liberals are consolidating their lead against the Conservatives. The bottom line is it's very, very close. It's neck and neck. I've seen other polls suggesting the Liberals are as much as 7 to 9 points out in front of the Conservatives. But even then, when you have, a plus or minus margin of error of, say, 3 to 5%, it's very, very close. That is the bottom line. So we'll have to continue to watch and monitor as the election continues and the candidates continue to drop like flies. So today, the Tories dropped another candidate in Quebec, I believe, who said that the Quebec massacre, I think this is related to the 1989 École Polytechnique massacre, it's all related to that. And the conservative candidate that was called out for what a liberal critic was calling a shameful comment from Simon Payette. He accused her. I got to go refer to this here to see what this report is saying tonight. So Liberal candidate Natalie Provo says she wants to see Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre call out shameful comments by a now dropped Conservative candidate Simon Payette, who accused her of playing the victim game in her quest for stronger gun regulations. And a Conservative spokesperson has confirmed that the party has now dropped Payette as a candidate. This is the latest in a bunch of candidates that have been, kicked to the curb by both the Liberals and the Conservatives because of things they've said in the past or currently getting canceled. And of course, the deadline for nominations is Monday. So they don't have much time to replace these candidates in these ridings. And I think there's a big scramble on, too, just to fill seats in a lot of ridings for candidacies. When I drive around in my neighborhood, I don't even see election signs up, except for the conservative candidate here, which tells me the other parties really were not ready for this election. So Provo survived being shot in that incident in 1989 and was awarded the Governor General's Medal of Bravery for attempting to dissuade the shooter. And she was left speechless, she says, by some of the comments that she says tarnish the memory of her classmates subject to the worst mass murder of women in Canadian history. So we've had some other candidates drop out now too on both sides, and tonight as well, the Liberals shedding another one. So yeah, today we have a Conservative and a Liberal candidate, both gonzo. This is a candidate by the name of Rod Loyola. He was running in the new riding of Edmonton Gateway. And the party and Carney have now confirmed that he is no longer a candidate. They have not elaborated on why Loyola, who was formerly an Alberta New Democratic Party member of the Legislative Assembly out there in the provincial legislature, before joining the Liberals as a candidate in this election. So another one bites the dust, the details of which we're not quite exactly sure. Not exactly sure what's going on, but we may find out more. Most significant thing is that he is just gone. Jagmeet Singh, NDP, campaigning today, went to some sort of a unique little donut shop. I think for whatever reason, this was the place where they chose to have their photo op. This was in Montreal, a donut shop inside a heritage building, which was a house that has been used, I think, as sort of a bakery, sort of a home-based business where maybe he's just trying to make a point about supporting small business. I'm not sure. But anyway, here's Jagmeet Singh at this donut shop / bakery place in Montreal today.
Oh, yay. Love it. That's exciting. Let's go in and grab some.
Hi, Grace. Thank you so much for receiving us. Pleasure. It's a bit chaotic, but we love it.
Big operation, big food stuff.
You know the story of our operation? This was my grandfather's house.
Oh, okay.
Built in 1897.
No.
He lived upstairs.
That's so cool.
This is a Canadian landmark. This is the first bagel factory in Canada.
Really?
First bagel factory in Canada.
You would come in through the front door. This was the parlor.
Yes.
This was the living room. He built the oven in the living room.
Wow.
And there was a wall here before, and that was the kitchen. So my grandmother would come down in the morning, make breakfast, open the front door, and customers would come into the house and buy bagels.
That's so cool. What an awesome story.
Yeah. So,
I didn't realize that.
yeah, it's a heritage building. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a house. It's a cottage. They lived upstairs. The
That's so
bedrooms were
cool.
upstairs.
That's so cool. Very cool.
And the recipe.
Oh, hi there. How are you? Comment ça va? Moi, c'est Jagmeet Singh.
Ben oui, certainement, je connais.
Oui, honneur de faire votre connaissance.
Oui, tout à fait. Moi aussi.
Merci.
Bye bye.
So if you guys want a shot of the Canada bagel, they're coming out now.
Yes.
The Canada bagels.
In the minute. They're
Canada bagels.
white ones.
Oh yeah, love it.
You have to hate these because Jagmeet Singh is there. You have to hate those too. Bagels down.
And is that a particular flavor, the red?
If you like those bagels, you're a socialist.
Okay, original bagel.
Okay.
We made them red and white to symbolize the Canadian flag. Yeah.
You must be a liberal if you like those bagels.
Hey, comment ça va?
Nothing better than a fresh bagel out of the oven, honestly. It like melts in your mouth.
Get a close up.
How much do you like bagels now?
Every day.
Do you? Yeah,
My kids, yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Send them to school.
Now we know
With the sandwich, bagel sandwich.
Bagel sandwich,
Yeah.
That's awesome. How many days can you go without your occupation?
I usually take some with me.
Do you? That's the best. That's awesome.
Best gift you bring for, let's say you go see family out in the country or friends, you bring them
some
the
bagels.
bagels.
Yeah.
That's like
They expect that probably now.
Yeah. And we also ship them. People call us and we UPS them overnight.
Oh, really?
We send them all over the place.
That's so cool.
California, New York, Chicago, Las Vegas,
Really?
Toronto.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That must be a huge honor. If people want to ship your truck all over.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's a big operation.
Yeah. I find it very soothing to see to see the dough and like it being formed. I find it's really like.
Yeah. Show them one raspberry. One raspberry? Sure.
I want to see a Canadian bagel.
No, I'll buy that and I'll buy one.
Show me.
Oh wow, it's beautiful. I'll take it. I have one garlic. That's all.
One garlic? All those Canadian
I can see them. Yeah. Those are awesome. Yeah. We're excited. Yeah.
You want a hot sesame?
Okay, sure. Walk over there, camera guy, and show a bagel.
Yeah, the ones that came out? Yes. Yeah, actually they are.
Or bagel.
I don't think it's that way, but they are.
Here you go.
Tell the story, please.
Okay.
Before it goes in the bag, man.
That's it. Show the Canada.
Thank you. Check. Please hold it up.
And we intertwined it.
I love that. Very beautifully done. Well done. Good thinking. Is that right? Yeah. That's so cool. Good job.
Came to me overnight.
Did it really? That's a great idea.
Yeah, I was driving in my car, listening to the radio.
Seriously?
I was listening to the news on the radio, and then I thought about it. And
You're like, I can do something.
I said, why don't I make a Canada bagel?
And how has it been received so far?
People love it.
That's such a good
People
idea.
are very excited.
That's
They're
very cool.
coming. Where's the Canada bagel? We want to see it. We're going to buy some. We want to
That's
support
so
Canada.
good. That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, I love that. Well, thank you. That's so cool. Oh, yes. So this is Rhonda's idea. This is a Canada bagel. So she came, the idea came to you. Let's do our part. Kind of side. So we're going to fight back and defend our country. So
Oh man, Trump is doomed. We've got the Canada bagel.
awesome. All right, so how do we get all these bagels now?
So they're going to pack them up for you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Are you distributing them? Do you want them in little bags? Do you want
We'll take them in a big,
Or you want them in a big
big
bag?
bag. We'll bring them onto the bus. We're going to feed the journalists that are with us.
So how
and we're
many
gonna feed-
people are you?
Oh,
we ordered 40. 40 is great. Yeah,
in the
40.
bag.
Okay, so
People will be able to get double. I think we're like 20 in
put
total.
the 40 Canada bagel in a big bag.
Yeah, you can put it in 2 bags, whatever.
Or in
how many
2 bags, or maybe
whatever
in
is
2 bags.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know better. Yeah. Great, thanks so much. And we have a cream cheese order as well.
Oh, you do? Of course. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think you recommend if we're doing 40 bagels? How much cream cheese?
We have individual cream cheese so that it's cleaner. They can just dip it single portion, or we have tubs, but then we'll give you plastic wine.
Yeah. We can do the thing.
Maybe 5.
What do you think?
Yeah, you can get 1 tub and maybe 5 bagels or 6 bagels.
Yeah.
Better than New York bagels? They're better than everybody else.
I'm going to tell them that there was a competition. Actually, we have one of our customers who will have bought our bagels, shipped it to the staff. Here, the cream cheese.
Yeah.
I'll give some knives and napkins. So you have it there.
Oh, perfect. They're top of it. Your team,
Napkins,
team is good.
Why don't you take those out and
Okay.
I'll get the
Okay,
knives and
you'll-
napkins. Can you carry those? Please?
Yeah.
Your napkins. And then you have to do your interview.
Okay. All right. My friends will give it
Big
a
bag of bagels.
Oh my God, I keep losing my camera. You know that, right? There you go.
Well, now you know you can't believe anything that the journalists say about Jagmeet Singh now, because he bought them all off with the bagels. And he did it right out in the open. And he's done that because he knows that Carney made his announcement about continuing funding for CBC today, which Polyev then called out as being, more corruption. Bagelgate. I'll be right back.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
I'll tell you, when I was working in mainstream media, I wouldn't even take donuts when I went to news conferences. I was that, yeah, that sticky about ethics. Wouldn't do it. And they would always put it, they'd always have, you go to these events, sometimes they'd try to feed you. And I wouldn't even eat the donuts. Is that excessive or not? Like, if you think does that stuff influence your coverage? If somebody gives you even a donut or a coffee or a soda, does that influence you? That's why you're not even really allowed. So you're not supposed to, in most countries, including Canada, the people are lined up outside a polling station on voting day, or if they're just walking over there. You're not supposed to stand there on the sidewalk outside the building and hand out like free water or do anything to try to influence them in any way. I don't know. Maybe you want to talk about it. What else do we have for you this evening? Russell Brand. Oh, his troubles continue. He oh, well, let me run this clip here first. This is I think somebody mentioned this in the chat, actually. And this is where it's coming from. This is a Fox News clip regarding the cost of cell phones going up because of Trump's tariffs. If you're cheerleading for Trump at this point, why would anybody be cheerleading for Trump on any of this crap? This is what it is. It is, oh yeah, stupid. Just like the Pee Wee Herman show tonight, the word of the day. Here's the clip on the cell phones.
China-United States fight is decades in the making. This has been going on for 20 years. China entered the WTO back in 2001. We've spent a lot of years getting cheap stuff. That is likely going to end, at least for now. iPhones are going to be $2,300. That's the reality. And then look, when you've got, that's why a lot of the market is selling off, because they're realizing that the global supply chain is about to be completely upended. But if you look at the decline of the American worker and the shrinking of the American factory and the loss of American jobs, it is because of China. I've always said we enabled China as a nation, and I'm going back 20 years. I'm not talking about right now. So the fight against China that Donald Trump has brought to the table has been successful and needed to happen. In his first term, tariffs against China were successful. They weren't this extreme. And then you had Joe Biden, who didn't enforce what was supposed to be happening. China was supposed to be buying American agricultural products. You know what? They did not. And he didn't enforce it. So they've had 4 years of a break, and now that break is over for China. As far as the market goes, though, I have to say, yes, there are a lot of big companies that have exposure to China, and that is why the market is very concerned and has every right to be. The bigger picture is that we pull back. I think that, and I believe this, I think reciprocal tariffs would have gone over easier with market participants than the charts that they pulled out into the Rose Garden on Wednesday. When they saw the different percentages, and I think that that's when the market said, wait a minute, this is a little more dicey than we wanted to see. But I think the reciprocal would have gone over just a little bit.
Did you say $2,300 iPhones?
Yeah. Automobiles are going to go up $4,000, $5,000, $7,000.
Wow.
But negotiate. Wall Street wants Trump to negotiate. Let's start talking. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, don't drop this guy and make sure you have Apple Care. All right, coming up.
I'm not spending $2,300 on a phone, period. You know what? This phone, I've had this for 4 years, maybe at least 4, maybe longer, maybe 5. It's pretty old. It still works. It wasn't functioning properly. I bought a battery, took it apart, installed the battery myself. I'm keeping this, and I'm going to use it as long as I can until I can't use it anymore. And then I'm going to buy something else that is not $2,300. I call people, I talk, I do a little bit of this. I am not spending $2,300. I will get a tin can, 2 tin cans, and a piece of string before I spend 2,300 USD on a cell phone. No bloody way. And Donald Trump is to blame for that. It's coming. It is coming. Not cool, man. Know what else ain't cool? What I was just talking about with Russell Brand. This guy here, now charged formally, not just with sexual assault. No, he's been charged with rape, which is more serious than like sexual assault. There he is in his, what is that, like some satanic black robe thingy, whatever that he's wearing. Pretty cool looking, but a little bit dark there, Russell. He's been charged with rape, indecent assault, and sexual assault on 4 separate women. And these charges laid by London's Metropolitan Police in England, not here in Canada. These charges stem from an investigation, it says here, into the actor and comedian, which began in September of 23. After several alleged victims came forward, the women who have made reports continue to receive support from specially trained officers. According to Detective Superintendent Andy Furphy, and the Met's investigation, he says, remains open, and detectives ask anyone who has been affected by this case or anyone who has any information to come forward and speak with police. The authorities allege that Brand raped a woman in Bournemouth in 1999, indecently assaulted a woman in 2001 in Westminster, London, orally raped and sexually assaulted a woman in Westminster in 2004, and sexually assaulted a woman in Westminster between 2004-2005. And he has denied similar assault and abuse claims in the past. He responded to these charges today in this video here. Let me share. Oh, maybe I need to. Here we go. Let me flip over. I'm going to have to switch pages. Take that one down, put another one up, because we have to go over here. There we go. And let me run the clip. Here we go. Russell Brand.
These incredible and overwhelming messages of support. We're very fortunate in a way to live in a time where there's so little trust in the British government. We're very fortunate, I suppose, that this is happening at a time where we know that the law has become a kind of weapon to be used against people, institutions, and sometimes entire nations that will not accept and tolerate levels of corruption that are unprecedented. I'm speaking particularly to those of you that are watching this in the UK. How do you feel about your legal system right now? How do you feel about some of the high-profile cases that are not being pursued and prosecuted? How do you feel that the Southport murders were handled? How do you feel about the government of Keir Starmer? Now, that's just sort of general context. Me, I've always told you guys that when I was young and single, before I had my wife and family, were just out of shot over there, my beautiful children, I was a fool, man. I was a fool before I lived in the light of the Lord. I was a drug addict, a sex addict, and an imbecile. But what I never was a rapist. I've never engaged in non-consensual activity. I pray that you can see that by looking in my eyes. I want to thank all of you for your continuing support. I want to let you know that our show will be on Rumble on Monday. Thanks for your support there. And of course, I'm now going to have the opportunity to defend these charges in court, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. In the meantime, you lot, stay free. And we will be continuing to discuss this matter. Praise the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. What do you think? You can call in now. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Exercise your right to free speech. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. And praise the Lord, we have a phone system, and you can call in at 1-647-734-4220. Praise the Lord. Punch in that PIN number, 860-075-764, followed by the hashtag pound sign thingy. And I'll leave that scrolling on the screen so you have the number to phone and the PIN number to punch when you make that call. And the phone lines are open right now. That's right. Praise the Lord. Russell Brand. I'm so glad he's found God just in time for his court case. Oh. Uh-huh. I don't know. Maybe, whatever. Just show me the evidence. And let's see where this goes. This has been ongoing with him for quite some time. And I don't know what else to say. We have somebody calling in now. Okay, let me see here. Here we go. Here's our first caller of the night. Here we go. Get rid of that and rock and roll. Who's on the line tonight?
Praise the Lord, because he's my shepherd, and you got a dragon on the line.
Oh, well, now you have a savior and a holy shield that you can take into court with you, Russell, so that you can defend yourself against these groundless accusations of rape and sexual assault. Boo! Praise the Lord. Cast out the devil.
Yeah, well, cast out the devil. Yeah, I'm wondering, is that an attack on the guy, or is it really, well, something that happened in the past? Is that some kind of discreditation attack on the guy or not?
I don't know.
How can we know?
Yeah, we don't. You just let it play out. But, people in this day and age, and it has been like this for some time, regardless of what the real evidence is, regardless of what the outcome is, regardless of what the verdict is, people will pick a side and either believe or choose not to believe, one or the other. And that's just the way it is. It's unfortunate because it makes it very difficult to get to justice, like true justice. And it's hard to have faith in the system when some people just choose to believe one thing or another, regardless of what the evidence actually proves in a court of law. And when they win, they say, "Oh, it works," and you see, I'm vindicated or whatever. When you don't get the outcome you want, they say that the system is corrupt. That's just that's the way it is these days. So, how are you doing there, sir, in Montreal?
Well, I'm doing great actually, and I was thinking about something actually. You know that in Montreal there is a little part of McGill University, which is I know it's not about the pro-Palestinian, but part of our dark history in Canada in general, where you had the MK Ultra. Compound, if you will, or one of these. So basically, it was a asylum for institute, basically that was used for the MK Ultra operation. So
yes,
that
they
could
did
be
research. Yes,
also
they did do
something
research there.
interesting.
Yeah. What about it?
Yeah. It could be interesting to have a little fun look at it in close quarter, and I don't know, make some mystery
Well,
about that.
I did a story on that dragon about a year and a half ago on the class action lawsuit. We had the one of the main stakeholders in that story on the program. This woman whose father had gone through that program and was severely damaged psychologically as a result and was never the same after being subjected to the experimentation there. We did a whole thing on that. I don't know if you were aware or maybe weren't tuned in at that time. You don't recall that?
Well, no, I don't. Probably I was around. If it was around the summertime, I was probably stranded into the shelter. So I was kind of under the under a cave or inside the cave, sort of.
Yeah, well, we did. Yeah, because I did a whole piece on that, a whole program, and the story at that time was that there was this class action lawsuit seeking damages from the U.S. government because it was the CIA and the U.S. government that was facilitating and funding, and it was them that was behind the experimentation at the research facility in Montreal. And then the court ruling came down and said that because it was a foreign government, they didn't have the ruling came back against the victims. And so they're still appealing that. And I think it's still I think there's an appeal process unfolding. I'd have to check now to see where they're at with that or if it's now dead in the water. But a very tragic story. Some people think it's just a conspiracy theory, but it is actually a real thing. And they were experimenting on people with like shock therapy combined with the administration of LSD and severe, like extreme suggestive exposure with like words and sounds and sensory things. It's pretty dark, a very dark story for sure.
Yeah, lot of sensory deprivation also.
Yeah, and we have somebody else on the line here. Who's with us now? Hello. Hang on. Hello, who's on the line? There we go. Somebody joined us. Who's there?
Elbows up, gloves off. It's Isabel.
How are you tonight?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine too. And again, thank you for the elbows up mug and the bag and the t-shirt. That's very thoughtful of you, Isabel.
I know you don't drink, but I thought, hey, pop or chocolate milk. There you go.
Yeah, well, I'll be putting my tea and my beverages in that, and I'll be proudly consuming my beverage from the mug that you you sent me. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
The weight of the mug is the weight of our strength. There you go.
There, yes, and it is a hefty elbows up mug.
Yeah, you'll develop muscles with that.
Yeah, that was very nice. You have a little like craft type home based business, I think, that you're running, right? Producing stuff like that.
Yes.
You tell us about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give us a shameless plug for your business. Go ahead, just take advantage while you're here.
It's called Bubble Gifts. It's on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I make different items. I've gone ballistic right now because I'm trying to keep my temper. I make crystal clear balloons that can last up to a year. And I put flowers inside or stuffies inside for kids' birthdays or Mother's Day for flowers or stuff like that. I also do heat press vinyl on shirts, like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I also do DTF printing on shirts.
What's DTF printing? What's that?
It's direct to fabric. So I print the sheet, and instead of heating the heat press vinyl, where the vinyl you have to cut it out and then heat press it to a shirt.
Yeah.
This is vinyl sheets that I can literally put colors on. I don't have to layer anything like you would with vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
You print it out as a picture, then you powder it, you heat it up, and then you put it right on the shirt.
I see. So it's like a sort of
soft.
a heat transfer of kind of sorts.
It's yeah, like a heat transfer. And yeah, they're great. I think they're great. I transformed my my ordinary printer into a sublimation printer so that I can do this, because you have to use sublimation ink. So a lot of this self-taught and YouTube. Yeah, I mean,
cool.
I make shadow boxes, as you know.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'll be 73 this year, and to keep myself out of the rabbit hole, this is what I do. So, yeah.
Lights up too. Very cool.
There you go. See?
Yes. Now I'm compromised. You see, now I have to say nice things about Isabel because she sent me free stuff.
I've got something to say. And if somebody orders something, I will donate some proceeds to Rick.
Oh, well, that's very nice. That's very nice. Now I'm doubly corrupted. Oh, my.
Hey, we got to support our Canadians here. You know, although they may throw me on the boat because I'm not a citizen, so they might just pack me up and put me in a bag.
You never know. In fact, the Trump administration has been given, I think, 2 days. This is another story from today. 2 days to bring back a man from, I think it's Maryland, that was scooped up and then without due process thrown on a plane and shipped off to that prison in El Salvador. And
yes,
it's like I am appalled by that. It is so wrong the way they're going about this. As far as I'm concerned, very dangerous, a direct threat, an assault on people's freedom, period, not just the people they're scooping up. So yeah, I've been given 2 days. Yeah. I've got the notes up here. Federal judge ordered the Trump administration today to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States after he was accidentally sent to a notorious mega jail in El Salvador. And this coming from U.S. District Court in Greenbelt, Maryland. Judge Paula Zinnes ruled that the government must return Garcia by April 7th at 11:59 p.m. And
the way they're going about this, this is like a Hitler run, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
We're just going to round them all up. We don't care who they are, where they're from, or what they've done. We're saying this is what they are.
Yes, sir. Yep. Indeed, indeed, indeed. And no, very, 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 very concerning to me this is dark, it's wrong. And if we allow governments to just start scooping people up off the street like that and don't say anything, even if they're guilty of something, they still should be they still are entitled to some degree of due process. Even people who are deemed to be terrorists who have diminished rights still have some rights, and they have to be respected.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yep. I mean, I don't agree what these people are doing either with the Tesla cars. I don't agree with that. There's other ways around that.
Yeah.
And that's just don't buy them.
Yeah.
So let them sit on the lot and rot.
Sure.
But if he's deeming these people now as terrorists, where's that going to go?
Yeah. It's they're scooping these people up saying, oh, look, you have a tattoo that proves the tattoo proves you're a gang member of MS-13 or whatever. And then off you go to the gulag in El Salvador. Well, I'm sorry, but that's just not good enough. Like you need to have a moment in front of a judge. That's what I said early on to you. I said, what are these mass deportations really going to look like? How is this going to work? And the reality of it is it looks like an authoritarian state.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of The Handmaid's Tale, which is, and when I watched that, I used to think, my God, that would never happen. Where are we? Where are we?
And
this is where we're at.
Yeah, and here's this related to this in a way. This is Republican Congressman Keith Self, who quoted Joseph Goebbels this week. And this was during a congressional hearing. Let me bring this up and share it with you. And then look at the reaction we get from this. But this also shows you where we are at today with our politics in America.
I'll leave you, and I'll yield back a little bit of my time. A direct quote from Joseph Goebbels. It is the absolute right of the state to supervise the formation of public opinion, and I think that may be what we're discussing here, and yield back.
Gentleman yields back. With that, the representative from Texas, Ms. Johnson, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I want to respond to what my colleague from Texas just said. When you're quoting Joseph Goebbels about the role of state in the public debate, we have a big problem. Indeed. Isn't that right, Mr. Jacobs? I mean, that's alarming as hell to me when that becomes the gold standard of Hitler and all that was going on in Russia, in German atrocities during World War II, when that becomes the quote of this hearing.
And Goebbels, of course, was the chief propaganda officer, essentially, for Hitler, right? And just unfreaking believable. And there it is. And the guy's quoting Goebbels like it's a good thing.
Yeah. There was a congresswoman today on X, and I didn't grab it. And she was laying down exactly what's going on right now with Elon and Trump. And she was just blowing it out of the water. And it was like, you people don't see this? Like he's running around the country, shutting this down and shutting that down. And it was like, whoa, that caught my attention. And it was on X today, and I'm like, yeah, she's got it right there. He's shutting everything down, and who's doing everything? This unelected guy, who's in there. And she says people are losing their jobs. They're firing these people left, right, and center when they really haven't been in long enough to do a proper investigation. And
well, I've been saying it for a time. Actually, Trump is basically destroying the guardrails and the separation of the power between the president, the people, and also the Congress. So basically, he's having all what he needs now to appoint people without no one looking for him, because all the people that should probably held him accountable or tell him that this is wrong have been put down or put aside.
He's ruling and administrating really through fear. He's surrounded himself with people who are just, yes, sir, whatever you say, sir, never disagree with him. And if anyone does they get turfed. And we saw this week, Laura Loomer, social media influencer, went to the White House, was traveling actually during the campaign with Trump for a little while. And then I guess that as the story goes, she went in there, identified a few people, including some people involved, senior people, I think it was a general even, or some top-ranking military officer. I'd have to get you the name and the rank. But she recommended that these people be fired. And then Trump did. He got rid of them because she said they're not loyal to you. So out. At least that's the way the story is being portrayed. The exact, conversation I'm not privy to, but then Trump did address it in a scrum yesterday on Air Force One, on the Air Force One gaggle. So very concerning times. And you're right, Isabel, not elected, these guys. Elon Musk, not elected. And in fact, when you look at their system, I noted this the other night, like all these people appointed by Trump, none of these people in these positions in that U.S. government system are elected to those positions. Pete Hegseth, not elected. Tulsi Gabbard, not elected. RFK Jr., not elected. And he's running American health, essentially. And Kyle Kemper, I saw him on Justin Trudeau's half brother on another podcast. He's been on this show a couple of times, but he said he described RFK Jr. as the president of healthcare in the United States now. Those are the words he used. But RFK Jr. not elected.
No. And that's what this woman was bringing up today, the congresswoman. And she's like, these guys are not elected. These have been handpicked, allowed to come in. Mm-hmm. And now you're looking at and she mentioned this, who is all there. You've got Elon, you've got Bill Gates, you got Zuckerberg, all licking the boots, and he's letting them in when they were going to be up on charges before.
Yeah, I know. He's right. Trump wanted to throw all these people in jail before, but now they're bending the knee, kissing the ring. So I guess now they're all okay. But what are you going to do with super rich people like that? You got to make them an ally or a friend of some kind.
Yeah, but that's what you played tonight was like when I forget the guy's name. He said that this is what Greenland wanted. Greenland didn't want that.
Marco Rubio. Yeah, Greenland didn't.
Rubio, yeah.
It's just
did you guys not hear Trump when he said he was going to take Greenland one way or another?
Yes.
That's kind of what he said about Canada too.
Yes. It's not like Marco. You know that he said it. You know that the idea came from Trump. This was all Trump. This is all Trump. All of this just insane, chaotic crap. And it's somehow it has to come to an end. It has to stop, or everything is going to be just blown apart.
Yeah. Well, you can hear the people now who have found out they've been deceived. I mean, there wasn't much choice between Biden, Kamala, Trump, but they've been deceived. And people are saying, well, that's what he went on. No, that's not. He never brought that up.
Yeah.
During his rallies. He never said that.
No. He never.
You know,
the Greenland thing, he alluded to it in his first presidency, but nobody took it seriously. And now this comes along, but he never said that he wanted to annex Canada or mentioned anything like that during the campain. Nor did I,
because he would have lost the auto union. That's why they wouldn't have went for that.
Yeah. And the auto workers union, the United Auto Workers Union in the States has now come out and they've expressed concerns about the tariffs because Stellantis announced at least 900 layoffs today at one of their U.S. factories. So they were supporting Trump before, when he was sitting there promising, even just yesterday, that he's going to bring auto manufacturing back to the United States in numbers like we've never seen before. But now a little reality sets in 24 hours later, and now they're suddenly concerned.
Well, it is going to be numbers like they've never seen before, because they're going to be so far in the hole.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's just going to be devastating if this stays in place.
What is this guy on?
They ain't gonna see the train coming.
Yes.
I don't know. And then he wants Europe to spend more on defense to bolster NATO. So he says, again, today, you heard Marco Rubio say that the U.S. government wants Canada and all NATO countries to spend at least 5% of GDP on military spending, and yet they're hammering all of their allies with these tariffs, which will mean in the end that you're going to get economic contraction. All countries will have less money to spend on anything, because it's going to plunge the world into either a recession or maybe even a depression. How are you supposed to increase your military spending if your budget tanks?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. If
I
you
was
don't have
asking
it, you
myself
can't
the
hold
same
it.
question.
It's like and it's not like he hasn't been warned, hasn't been told. He's just like a bull in a china shop, and he's breaking everything in sight right now. And I don't know, guys, but you tell me, is Trump stupid? It's backwards, but is he stupid, or is he? That's how stupid maybe he is, that he writes it backwards. But is he stupid, or is he doing this intentionally? It's one or the other.
You know what? The tactics are stupid, but he's doing it intentionally.
So he's stupid and he's doing it intentionally. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're stupid, you could still be doing it intentionally because you're stupid. Yeah. Or you could be smart and doing it intentionally and acting stupid. Anyway, slice it. Yeah. This is the stupidest thing ever.
It's like a little kid. You tell the little kid, don't do that, you're going to get hurt. The kid does it anyway, and they come back crying and go, well, I told you were going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, doing the same thing. What did they say stupidity is? Doing the same thing over and over again and wanting different results.
Insanity is...
And he's close to that.
Oh, yeah. It's insane and stupid. It's sowing chaos in the markets, which is exactly what markets don't want. Markets depend on stability. Nobody knows what the hell is going on.
And he wants to keep it that way. He's doing this juggle bit so that nobody knows what's coming next or what he's going to hit next.
I don't know, man.
And it just surprises me that Russia wasn't even on that board.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, isn't it?
So it's like, so wait. You say you're pissed off at Putin, but you didn't put him on the board.
Yeah.
Not that I care about your board, because this is getting ridiculous.
The board itself was ridiculous. It's like, I've never seen a president behave like that. That's undignified, really, for a president to sit there with a board like that, holding it up as though almost like it's a game show or something. Normally you would have something more polished, a more professional presentation than that. You couldn't even see the board. All the journalists are looking and like, I can't make out, like, is Canada on there? Is my country on there? We're right next to what, Cameroon? No, that's not. No, Cameroon, Canada. I don't see Canada. Like, what is that? It's like flea market, the flea market presidency. It's everything's on the cheap. It's like, can't you get a proper sign at least to tell the world that you're going to destroy the world economy and get your numbers straight and have a better presentation than some little mini presentation board that you hold up?
He likes to hold
things up. It's all becoming a reality show.
Yeah.
Yes. A sad reality show, stupid reality show.
A game show yesterday with that stupid chart is like, welcome to Name That Tariff. It's like, and here's your host, Donald J. Trump.
Yes, that's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what? The more I look at this thing about these assassinations, you got people who, one guy posted, I had it right on the tip of my tongue. The wrestler, the boxer that bit the guy's ear.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
It showed you the bite on the guy's ear.
Yeah.
Then it shows you a picture of Trump at one of his rallies, and it was a close-up. There wasn't even a mark on the ear. And he said it took a piece out of his ear.
He shows a close-up of which ear? Evander Holyfield's ear? After
Yes.
Tyson bit him?
Yes, with the bite out of it.
Yeah.
How the scar looked.
Okay.
And then it shows you the close-up of him at the rally, where after supposedly the bandage just came off, but there was no mark. He said he had a hole in his ear. But even now, I don't even see, if I do a close-up of him on a off one of where he's speaking, and I stop it and I try to get a close-up, there's not even a mark on his ear.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, I mean, if you want to portray yourself as the second coming, that's what he's doing. Because this guy, we never really got a lot of information from that shooter.
Yeah.
About where, like his background. They would have delved into that. And the Secret Service did nothing at the time. Why? Because was this all set up? I'd start wondering that, because they were in the building below. The guy was on the roof.
Yeah, well, we can sit here and speculate and blah blah blah. But if we're going to get into that, that would be for another program, and I'd want to get more up-to-date information so that we can speak about it intelligently. I haven't looked at it in months really to even know where they're at with all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, other things too, like and I understand, like he didn't have his hand on the Bible when he was sworn in, stuff like that. It's like, oh, they didn't have the Bible at the time. Well, what? What? Was he afraid to put his hand on it?
Yeah, well, let's move on. In fact, it's near the top of the hour, and it's kind of time to close the program off. So, Isabel, I'll give the floor to you for a final thought, and then we'll come over to our French Donald Trump for a closing comment tonight.
Monsieur Dragon. Okay. Keep the faith. Get your elbows up. We're going to get through this. They got the word. We're not putting up with their crap.
There you go. And yes, that's right. And it's backwards. It's backwards. Elbows up. So, and if you want one of these things or some other gift or whatever like that, go check out Isabel. Where on Facebook, right? What's the name of it, Isabel, so that people can find you?
Bubble Gifts.
Bubble Gifts. There you go. So, Monsieur Trump, please.
Well. What am I gonna tell you? Everything's stupid nowadays. Don't give up. It's always the same. Looks up. There's always a dragon probably following or flying around your turfs you don't even notice yet. And stay positive and always chin up in front of the adversity and even in front of death, because there's nothing to stop us.
Okay, and last but not least, what should we play tonight as a closing song? We have... What should we play tonight to just close things off? We play. Well, you know what?
Let's go.
Since I'm thinking, the market's crashed, we have massive inflation just days away. We're not going to be able to afford anything. We're going to own nothing and be very unhappy. And a trip to the grocery store is going to just be a killer. in the days, weeks, and months ahead because of one man, Donald J. Trump. Let's dedicate tonight's song to Donald J. Trump, the king of tariffs. Here it is, Maverick and the News Brothers, and I'll see you guys back here in 1 hour at 10 p.m. Eastern for Maverick Midnight Matinee. And this is the, what did I call this song? It's slipping my mind. I only wrote the bloody lyrics for it. The grocery song. What do we call it?
Midnight.
Yeah, go ahead, Isabel. What was it? Midnight.
Was it Midnight Run?
Run. Midnight
Grocery Run.
Yeah,
Right.
midnight grocery run.
dedicated to King Donald. I'll see you guys back here in 1 hour. And if you don't make the Maverick Midnight Matinee tonight, the movie of which to be announced, I haven't decided yet, even just an hour out, but it'll be something very entertaining. I got a couple of different ideas, but if you don't see you then, I'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on the
flip side.
Flip side.
Under neon lights at the 24/7. Cereal boxes stacked like they're from heaven. Cartwheels squeak while hearts untucked. Past the pickles and we're straight up struck. Midnight grocery run, feeling so divine. Bananas in the basket and we're losing track of time. Laughing through the aisles with you right by my side. This midnight grocery run's a wild ride. Frozen pizzas and a chocolate pie. Scanning items neath the starry sky. Fluorescent glow makes everything so real. In this wonderland we break the seal. Midnight grocery run, feeling so divine. Bananas in the basket and we're losing track of time. Laughing through the aisles with you right by my side. This midnight grocery run's a wild ride. Here's certain they know the drill. Moonlit moments give a midnight thrill. We dance down aisle 4 like no one sees. Just some dreamers lost in fantasies. Midnight grocery run, feeling so divine. Bananas in the basket and we're losing track of time. Laughing through the aisles with you right by my side. This midnight grocery run's a wild ride.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.